Welcome to the Third Degree Masonic Podcast, where we are always on the level. We're your hosts. I'm Brother Samuel.
And I'm Brother Ryan.
And we're just a couple Masons trying to find our place in this fraternity. Welcome back, craftsmen. We hope you enjoyed our series on what it means to be a traveling man and how to become a traveling man. I think we really learned some really cool things.
Yeah, it kind of enlightened us, opened up our minds a little bit more.
So now, craftsmen, we have hit summertime. We are going to start doing topics that interest us, fun topics, serious topics, just whatever kind of fleets our fancy. We've got some very interesting creative outlets we're going to be doing. And
Sam's starting the season off with messing with my mic.
Of course.
His.
Sorry. I'm usually number 1, and I put myself as number 4. But anyways, just quick update, craftsmen. We're rocking and rolling here at Genoa Lodge. We've had some really interesting events. We just finished our first pancake breakfast. 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
As the time of this recording, it was very successful. We had a really good community outreach.
Yeah.
We're actually going to pivot it from a fundraiser into a community event, and we raised $400 for the local school district. So, in like 3 hours. So that's pretty good. Not bad. Not bad for flipping some pancakes. Other than not getting the sausage cooked fast enough.
Yeah. And I think the best thing of it wasn't just raising the money, but like all the brothers that Genoa Lodge that attended, and we all had like a great time. I mean, we're all cooking and stuff, but we're all just flipping pancakes, throwing sausages in the
skillet.
And and then my wife was doing the scrambled eggs and stuff, and we were all just shooting jokes left and right and whatnot. So I think overall it was a great first step.
I'm looking forward to doing that again.
Yep.
On another fun note, we are officially locked in this year to be major contributors to our local town festival, homecoming festival. We're going to be working the beer tent and leading the parade and organizing the parade. And we may have bitten off a little more than we can chew, but we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, it was. We had a meeting after last day meeting at town hall, and it was kind of nice because I ended up showing up a little bit late because traffic and whatnot, but I walked in and apologized for being late, but right away the person that organizes it was like, "This is Ryan. He's with the Masons of Genoa. Talk to him if you need any help."
And he's a VIP.
Yeah. He's got an army that can help you out. And it was like, I don't know about an army, but sure, we can go with that.
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah. They love us. So
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I took the whole weekend off, so that's going to be fun.
Yep. I ended up taking Friday off because that Thursday we're going to be there until like midnight. And it's
on Thursday?
I believe so.
Oh, geez, I forgot about that. I have Thursday off too. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got some exciting things in the pipeline here at Genoa. We've got a couple new plural members that have come from other lodges. We've still got our entered apprentice. We're gonna be doing a fellow craft degree here pretty soon, so that's gonna be fun for my good buddy Ben.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, fun fact, this is my first, I was lodge education officer, so for here and at Northern Light, and you're technically the lead mentor of all the candidates, but really my job was to make sure that the candidate was getting his education, not necessarily to give the education. And Ben is like my first ever true candidate. Like, my first mentoree, like, legitimately, it wasn't something I was like, oh, I'll help, I'll do this. He is my...
Yeah, you're the one that kind of, like, brought him the petition because he asked you, and kind of, like, going through the first degree, and you helped him take his first degree examination, and then we're getting ready to do the second one, and it's like, okay, Sam already worked with you with the first one, probably going to work with you again for the second one.
Oh, yeah, he's my apprentice, my apprentice, my protege. But so that's really an interesting thing to be going through right now.
Yep.
Like I said, having been LEO, I'm like, oh, no big deal, whatever. And I've helped, countless people do their education, but I
Yeah.
have never actually been the guy one-on-one, first line signed.
Yeah.
This is my responsibility, because that's the way I look at it. If you first line sign for the guy, or you're one of the signers on their petition, you're responsible.
Yeah.
You're saying I will be. I'm his mentor. I'm his I'm his rabbi here in this fraternity.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people put their names on the petitions like, oh yeah, join, somebody will figure it out. And then these guys are like, well, we had one recently that really only wanted to work with one brother, and when that one brother couldn't work with him, we haven't heard from him since.
Yeah.
And I think he was just disappointed. I think he thought he was going to have this one-on-one time with this guy, and you're just like, so that's why I was like, you know what, I'm going to take the time, I'm going to take the effort. But what also was interesting is we've kind of changed our curriculum here at Genoa a little bit. We're working on some creative ways of educating our candidates instead of just going through the traditional memorize everything method.
Yeah.
We have our other method here in Ohio, which is the principles proficiency, which is kind of like going through everything in the degree and then you take a test over it, sort of. You got to write down your thoughts on what you think it means.
There is no right and wrong answer, but it kind of gets you to kind of think about, kind of like the questions we ask here on the Third Degree Masonic podcast.
Right.
Like it's not necessarily like, hey, we want you to tell us the correct answer of what it means to be a traveling man. It's, well, what do you think?
Right.
What alley or road are you gonna go down?
Yeah.
On this?
And I think I really like that way of doing it, because you still have to learn how to read the code.
Yes.
It still requires you to do that, and you still have to be able to read your obligation. But instead of just reciting a bunch of words and a bunch of mumbo jumbo that you might not understand, you really do. It breaks the degree down piece by piece by piece, and it makes you understand it. And once you learn it like that, especially having, I've been a Mason for over a decade now, I learn things every time I go through these principles proficiency where I'm like, oh yeah, I never thought of that before. Whoever wrote it did a great job. I'm pretty sure it was Brother Steve Hessler, but
yeah, like I know the first time that we had one, and Gabe was the mentor for the candidate, and they're like, oh, we're gonna do the principles proficiency, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting, never heard this. And some of the questions Gabe was asking the candidate, I was like, ooh, I didn't even think about that.
It asks you some really deep, thought-provoking questions, and it's not you can't just rattle it off. You gotta give your opinion.
And then going with one of our other brothers that kind of went the same path during his exam, or like kind of going with Gabe and like trying to figure this out. When Gabe wasn't available, that brother would reach out to me if he saw me, and it was like, hey, I'm looking at this principles for proficiency, and this is the question. What's the right answer? Or what's right? And I would go, ooh, that's an interesting thing. I think of this. Like, think about the degree, and we're being very vague on purpose because we cannot obviously disclose it. But any brother that is interested in learning about the principles proficiency, Grandview, you can find it.
If you're in Ohio, Mason.
Yes. If not, I highly recommend reaching out to your lodge education officer, your worshipful master, secretary, even though I hate giving secretaries more work than they already have. But yeah, like it's more eye-opening. It's supposed to be for the candidate, but it also makes everyone else go, ooh.
Good thought.
Yeah. And then also whatever the candidate says, it kind of makes you think of, oh, I didn't think about it that way. Or,
and I think Ben going through it this way, he's an active learner. I don't think just regurgitating information is the old way. I don't think that would work for him. He could memorize it, sure, but I don't think he would understand it as well as the way we have presented it. But also on top of it, the hybrid portion of this is the fact that we here at Genoa are requiring our apprentices and our fellow crafts, and even our Master Masons, once they get their degree, they need to travel to other lodges with another brother and see the degree that they have received.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to go through the degree, you're kind of experiencing, but now we're You're watching it. You're watching someone else go through it, and you're going, "Oh, that makes sense. That's what they were doing."
Yep. And that's where I really love it when we have two candidates going through the same degree on the same night, because then let's say Ben and Adam. Let's just say Adam.
Right.
Ben gets his entered apprentice degree first, goes through the whole thing. Well, now he's can sit on the sideline
Right.
the same night and watch Adam do it. And then for the fellowcraft, Adam goes first, and then he can see it. And it's just because then it's fresh in your mind, and you can go, "Oh, that's what I was doing."
Well, you could see it. I mean, talking to Ben about all this stuff, he really genuinely understood the entered apprentice degree. And I told him, I said, "This is going to take as long as you want it to.
Yes.
If it takes you 6 months to truly understand the point of this degree, great. We're not rushing you through this. There's zero reason." I was like, "You don't want to be an officer, right?" He goes, "No." I said, "You don't want to be, you don't want to join Shrine or Scottish Rite or anything?" He goes, "No, I just want to be I just want to be here."
Blue Lodge.
I said, "Well, we're going to take as much time as you want.
Yeah.
And when you tell me you're ready, and you've hit these requirements, these educational milestones." Also, he's sat in on 2 specific lecturees that have come and visited Genoa Lodge and lectured. So that's probably a part of it too. He's getting a really good education on these things.
Yep.
And my hope is by going through this route of doing it, he will end up being a much better is the wrong word, but a more informed, engrossed, educated Mason.
Yes.
We're doing a wide range of things, but at the end, we're not jumping through these degrees and he doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
And it was actually really impressive because him and I mean, you sat there when he did his give back. Him and I did not practice that.
Yeah.
Right off I just was like, we don't need to. Why?
Yeah.
You know it. Like, we're not going to go through this 85 times and overthink this. And it was just, I don't know, it was just very, especially being able to look at him and go, "Was there any part of this that you didn't understand?" And he said, "No." And I'm like, perfect.
That's good.
That's exactly the answer I wanted to hear.
Yep.
Because if you didn't, now is the time to ask, and we would be happy to help you.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Really working hard on that right now. His fellow craft's going to be in next
1 week. Yeah.
Next week.
Well, today's Wednesday, so yeah, less than a week.
Yep. And then as of this episode coming out, we will have been at the Grand Master's reception this weekend.
Gonna see if you brought that up, because that is coming up
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to be visiting our Grand Master, Brother Johnson, I believe. He's coming to...
we should really know that.
We should, but listen, I've been so busy, it's not even funny. He's going to be coming to Northwest Ohio, and we're going to be putting on the Ritz for him at the Hilton Hotel. So that will be fun.
Yep.
We're all going. There's a huge group of us going.
Yeah, I think this is the biggest group that I've seen since I've come over to Genoa. I think there's 13 or 15 of us going.
Yeah, because last year was it last year or the year before we went? It was
I think it was
Gabe's year. It wasn't Charlie's year. It was Gabe's year.
Yep.
So we went, and there was like 6 of us there.
Yeah.
So this is definitely way more than that.
And then I think the year before that, Dustin's year, I think it was the 4 of us. I don't even think you were there.
I didn't go.
I think it was Ricky, myself, my fiance at the time, not my wife, and then Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it. So like over the course of the last 4 years, it's like we've almost like doubled, if not tripled.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, it's, Brother Jeff Syme's in charge of this event. It's his, it's his district, his event, whatever. He's in charge of it. So we're really going to help support and to go see the Grand Master. I mean, that's always a good time.
Yep.
But, and to see everybody, because what's crazy is it's everybody from the 11th, a lot of it, and then the other districts do come and visit, but it's a lot of people from the 11th all in one place, and you kind of go, "Oh, I know these people," and you're like, "I have never seen you before.
Yeah.
Where are you from? How do I not know you?" And then, but that's how you open up your coterie of people by,
Yeah, it's kind of like the, not the Grand Master's reception, Grand Lodge, that we went to. And it's kind of like, even though, yes, we had a table there and we're not going to have one at the Grand Master's reception, it's kind of nice because it will be like, oh, hey, yeah, I remember seeing you, or
Yeah.
oh, hey, yeah, you look familiar. You're a member of Genoa Lodge or
Yep.
whatnot. And
Well, and the last time I went, that was our first year, so we were, nobody knew who we were then. So
yeah,
maybe some people might know who we are now. It does happen.
yep.
But
So,
well,
things are happening.
yeah, we're rocking and rolling. We're doing the best we can. It's going to
Yep.
be an interesting summer, but that's why we're not doing anything too serious for the next
Yeah.
few months because it's crazy. But I do want to get onto the topic at hand here.
So you want to get off our soapbox
And get
that
on
we've been on for 15 minutes and get on to a new soapbox
Yes.
is what I'm hearing. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, listeners, strap in. It's Sam's soapbox hour.
The soapbox hour. Hang on. No, I want to talk about a topic that's I think it's important. I think it's in the deep root of us as Freemasons. And I think it's a problem in our fraternity, and I think it needs to be fixed.
Yep.
But it can only be fixed by you. And I don't mean you, Ryan. I mean you, the listener.
Yes.
And it can only be fixed by me as Samuel. And you, Ryan, yes, you can fix it too. And I would argue that you and I do not have this problem.
Yep.
For the most part. We do occasionally have our moments.
Yes.
And that's understandable. But how many times, Craftsman, if you're an active member of the fraternity, but even if you're not a member of the fraternity, let's just say you're a guy, right? You've got some friends. And you ask your friend, hey, buddy, I really need some help carrying a pool table down into my basement, right?
Yep.
And your buddy looks at you and goes, oh, gee, man. Yeah, I got you. I'll be there on Saturday. I'll help you carry that pool table. We got this.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. You get there, you text your buddy on Friday and you go, hey, man, still good for tomorrow? Yeah, man, I'm good. I'll be there. See you tomorrow. Saturday comes around and your buddy doesn't show up and goes, oh, man, I totally forgot that I had to reorganize my Yoko Ono records. Like,
or something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, man, well, I was kind of relying on you to handle this.
Yep.
And to help me. What happened? Or worse, you're a Masonic brother and you say, hey, man, somebody needs to take care of this problem the lodge has. Or just doing an activity that the lodge needs. Hey, I need someone to go get us prices on pancake batter.
Yep.
And then some guy goes, oh, I got this. I'll take care of that. And then it comes to the week before the event, and you're like, hey, Jimmy, why haven't you, what's the price going to be on that pancake batter? Oh, I forgot. I didn't have time to go do it. Okay, well, then why did you tell me you were going to do it?
Yep.
Okay, Craftsman, I'm sorry to get on this soapbox, but we as Masons are supposed to be highly reliable individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're supposed to be men of our word. But it seems like in this fraternity, people are just so flaky. I don't understand it. I can send out an email, right? I get 55 emails a day. Most of them are junk mail from iTunes and Target, Brother God knows what. But if I see a name on there and I go, ooh, so Brother so-and-so sent me an email. Let me open that up. Oh, I'm not really interested in what he's saying. Charlie is a big recipient of this one. He sends me all those events that he wants us to go to. But the first thing I do is, hey, Charlie, I won't be able to go to that, but thank you for letting me know.
I will say you're a bigger man for that because
You just blow it off.
I just go, yep, nope, not going to that.
Not going to that. But I mean, when you're talking about and don't get me wrong, I feel like there's situations where we all kind of lose ourselves, right?
Yes.
We have a guest right now that's in the wings that's going to be on the show. He messaged me a few weeks ago and we've been going back and forth on things, and then I just didn't hear from him for a while, right? Yep. Well, he reached out to me the other day and he goes, hey, brother, I'm really sorry, with Passover happening and this happening, and I had a bunch of stuff going on. He goes, I'm really sorry. I dropped the ball. I missed it. No big deal. It happens. These things happen. But like it's not like this guy and I have regular communications. He's not in my coterie. It just seems like as Masons, we should be much more reliable than we are.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have you heard that like, oh, Masons are flaky. You can't get them to RSVP to an event. You can't get them to say they're coming, or whether they're coming or going, or whether...
Prime example is the Grand Master's reception.
Yeah.
I got an email saying from one of the brothers, not like our brothers, but the ones putting it on, and it was like, hey, we haven't received your RSVP. Where is it at? And I saw a list of how many brothers he sent this email to.
All right.
And I immediately responded with, I've already sent this to the person it was supposed to go to. I sent it this day. But just in case they lost it, here's this. By the way, just my 2 cents. This might be out of my realm of control or whatnot. If you guys are so concerned with hitting the deadline, why don't you guys move it up a week or 2?
Yeah.
He responded very nicely, very professional. Hey, brother, it's been a long time since we talked. Hopefully everything's going good. Hoping to stop by one of your state meetings and chit-chat.
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, thank you for your input. We definitely hear it, and we definitely understand where your frustration is coming from. That brother never got us the RSVP, but I'll make sure that yours gets in. Thank you so much. For your information, in years past, we've moved it up. And now it's at this date.
And it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, no matter when we do it, people always wait to the last minute. I mean, look at dues, the Messiah dues for this year or last year or whatnot. It's like, I know for a fact Grand Lodge sends those out automatically.
Right.
And then I get notified if the address is wrong immediately. But people are just like, oh, I'll get to that later. I'll get to that later.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I understand people with dues. Money is a very difficult, fickle thing. I mean, sometimes you're literally waiting until the week.
Yeah.
You know, you give them the money to have that money. I mean, I'm so happy, like, you know, Brother Race and with his kids and everything. Sometimes that's how he was. He was like, hey, I didn't have it last week. I have it now. That's why I'm happy he's got an endowed membership now. Because that's why I was like, I'm going to just write this check because I'm so tired of paying Jack every year.
Yep.
But
and we understand. I would argue, and correct me if I'm wrong, we understand people have lives.
Absolutely.
Things come up. Like you said, oh, shoot, I completely forgot so-and-so came up. But every single time it's like, okay, I can't rely on you for anything anymore.
Well, and let's even move past I can't rely on you thing, because I'm really not trying to make this a negative episode. It's just to bring awareness to these things.
Fine. It's a negative soapbox.
It's a negative soapbox episode.
Yep.
But if you, like, let's say, okay, so it's not even you're unreliable thing. Mm-hmm. The other side of this coin is, look at your lodge.
Mm-hmm.
How many people in your lodge are keeping it afloat?
Yes. How many are the workhorses?
How many guys? It's because listen, I love our lodge. And I'm not saying that everybody's not doing something, but there are definitely 4 or 5 of us that keep this building from crumbling to the ground.
Yes.
And when something happens, it's the same 4 or 5 of us that somehow get stuck fixing a problem that we didn't ask for.
Yep.
And I mean this respectfully. We're busy too. And that's the thing I cannot comprehend this. Okay? When somebody looks at me and they go, "Oh, I'm just a really busy guy. I'm just a really busy boy. I've got a lot going on." I'm like, "What do you mean? Are you saying I don't? I'm running a podcast. I'm planning a wedding. I work 3rd shift, so I'm time traveling consistently. And then on top of that, somewhere I still have a household to run. I've still got a fiance to keep happy. I've got friends to keep entertained. I'm an active member of a motorcycle club, and I've got required things to go to that. But yet I'm still the guy that's expected to do these things, or mostly it comes with communication, right? I think that's probably that's the root of a lot of our problems here in this fraternity is communication.
Yeah, and I would argue, going back to that workhorse thing, it's and your Sam as the treasurer now, you're starting to realize where I would get frustrated with secretary's duties is because it would just be like, well, now I got all these duties. Now, no, I took on that responsibility. I said, this is within the length of my cable tail. I'll
Right.
take it on. But then it's like, oh, hey, we need to get a room of reflection. Hey, we should really update the dining room. Hey, it gets really hot in here in the summer. Can we get a new furnace and stuff, or an AC unit?
And you just kind of want to be like, can somebody else
Yes.
spearhead this?
I stand up in the east where my desk is, and I say, okay, this is what we need to do. Who can help? And I hear crickets. Or my favorite thing is, oh, well, contact brother blah blah blah. He does that for a living. I go, okay, cool. Get with me after lodge.
Give me his phone number.
Yeah, phone number, email, whatever, so I can get in contact. And I never hear anything. And then I bring it up again. Well, did you get hold of blah blah blah? I don't know that person, so no.
Right. And also, if you know him, why don't you reach out to him?
Yes.
Because you're obviously friends.
Yes.
Why am I doing this? I don't know this person. I'm just cold calling them. I know they're my brother, but like you obviously...
There's still some of that awkwardness. Hey, brother so and so. I know we've never talked. You've never heard.
But I need you to do me a favor.
But Genoa Lodge really needs some.
Yeah, right. It's very... And even when it comes to that kind of stuff, I mean, and then you reach out to brother so and so, blah 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 blah, about whatever problem you need fixed, and he doesn't call you back.
Yeah, because he's also busy.
He too is busy doing
it's a shocker.
God knows what. But then you see him at something, and you're like, "Hey, did you get my phone call? Oh, I forgot to call you back. I'm so sorry. I'll call you next week, and we'll." Doesn't happen either.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know. I'm just...
That's where when you've come to me about like the gutter problem that we're having, and you were like venting to me, I was just sitting there smiling because I was like, Samuel, welcome to my pain.
Welcome to the shit show.
This is you and Ricky would get on my case for Ryan. Why aren't you hiring a professional? Why are you just doing this?
Well, because they don't call you back.
Yes,
and I'm not. This isn't even a brother to brother thing. Craftsman, we have a leak in our roof in our bathroom. It's not a big leak. It's a little leak. You know,
the gutter just needs replaced.
The gutter needs replaced and whatever. Ryan was working on it for like 4 months. And then I was like, hey, man, you're buying a house. Obviously, you're busy. Why don't I take this? And he went, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
I went, cool.
I
Here's
called
the dumpster fire.
I called 10 contractors.
Yep.
Only one of them called me back and offered to come out and give us a quote. And fun fact, he's currently under investigation for burning down his own house. And he owes like millions of dollars to people in Northeast Ohio. He just set up shop over here and was gonna scam us too.
Yeah, pretty much of getting contract, getting the deposit, and then just
leaving.
Running.
Yep. And I got lucky. Some guy saw me talking to this guy on Facebook, and he sent me a message like, "Hey, buddy, you shouldn't do this." And then he sent me all the court documents. He's like, he owes me $500,000. I'm like, oh, God, that was close.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, you've got brothers on the sidelines who are just telling you constantly, well, why isn't this done?
Hey,
well, why isn't it done?
Where's the bathroom?
Well, why isn't this going to happen? This just can't happen. And then when you're finally like, hey, yeah, I've called 10 people. One of them said they'll come out. Oh, that's a good thing. I'm like, yeah, he was going to scam us out of money.
Oh, that's not a good thing.
That's not a good thing. I'm like, yeah. So we still have a gutter that needs fixed.
Yep.
And we're still working on that problem.
Yeah, because until like one of us gets free.
Yeah, when am I going to deal with it?
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the other thing. It's like maintenance. We got to work on a maintenance schedule because a lot of the stuff could be fixed here around this building on a maintenance schedule. Who does that for your lodge, Craftsman? Who is in charge of keeping your building going? Who is the guy? I mean, I'm sure you have a guy. There's probably one guy who's doing all this work. And you know what? I'm sure he would love for you to go, hey, brother, you need some help?
Yeah, you need me to come by and
replace some air filters.
Yeah,
but
air filters.
Ricky replaced our air filters. I don't think they've been replaced for like 3 years.
Yeah,
that thing was black.
So
looked like coal mine soot. He took it and breathed on it and just was black hair coming in. I was like, ugh. And you want to know who vacuums our Lodge Craftsman? I bought us a robot vacuum. That's who does it. Because I got tired of being vacuuming.
I remember I got a vacuum and a carpet cleaner for the lodge room, and the water was not clear after I was done. And I remember I sent a text message to the officers, and I was like, hey, I just vacuumed and cleaned the carpet. And I forget who, but someone was like, that hasn't been done in 15 years. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't understand the robot vacuum. Every time I empty him out, it's disgusting.
Yes.
But I don't understand because he does this once a week. There's nobody up here. Where's he pulling all this dirt from? I don't know. But he finds it. I mean...
So I'm kind of going back to the topic at hand because we're getting a little offhand and we're just making jokes at this point.
I just... It really bothers me in Freemasonry.
It grinds your gears.
It grinds my gears, specifically in Freemasonry.
Yep.
That we do not have the reputation of... We have the reputation of being successful, of being, good, upstanding, but the word reliable should be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like that comes with when a man's word is his bond, and if he says that he's going to do something, he should do it. And I think it just drives me nuts that Masons are just fickle people. Yeah, maybe it's just an Ohio Masonry thing.
Maybe it's just Genoa. Maybe it's just wherever
it's not. Go. It's not, because that is a thing all of Ohio I hear all the time of, oh, you know how Masons are. How many times have you heard that? Oh, you know how Masons are. They don't meet deadlines. They don't do this.
Yeah.
They don't do this or that. They don't call you back. They don't send you emails, but they'll be there if you really... You're supposed to be there when I really need you, but you can't return my phone call?
Yeah.
What is happening here? And I think that's something that we as a fraternity craftsmen, I think that's something we have to change our minds on. We have to decide is an unacceptable thing and that we have to fix.
Yes.
Right?
We have to take the lecture / the education of if it's within the length of your cable tow.
And it goes right back to what Ricky said in his cable tow episode. I mean, You go back to it, that is your bond.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I totally understand that we have things come up. Mm-hmm. Accidents happen.
Life happens.
And a lot of times it's way out of your control.
Yes.
But a lot of things are within our control. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you right now, if somebody asked me to take on another big project, I would be telling them, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
Yeah.
What do you mean you can't do that? I can't do that. I have so much on my plate right now with all of these other things. I'm going to drop the ball.
Yes.
It's going to happen. I tell my therapist that all the time. She's like, so how's everything going? I'm like, I feel like I'm juggling and I don't know which ball's going to hit the floor, but one of them's going to hit the floor at some point, but I'm doing a really good job of doing the juggling right now.
Yeah.
That's how I feel my whole life. My whole life kind of runs like that. But at a certain point, I get rid of one of the balls and then it's easier to juggle.
Yeah.
And,
and then you don't learn from your mistakes and then grab a new ball. And then you're like, shit.
I'm getting better about that. But I always go out of my way to make sure when I say I'm going to do something, I do.
Yes.
If I say I may put off cutting my grass, but damn it, I will be at your event if I say I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
I may not get, my meal prep done on Sunday night because I have an episode to edit for the podcast.
Yep.
But I can always go to Chipotle on Monday. It's fine. I'll figure it out.
Like, prime example of this is coming home from work today. Traffic was terrible. Got home and a wave of exhaustion just hit me.
Yep.
And I was like, I just want to take a nap. But I was like, shoot, I gotta get to Genoa. I was like, you know what? I got 15 minutes to spare. I'm gonna lay down for 10 minutes. Set alarm for 10 minutes. Laid down.
Woke up.
Alarm went off, went, cool, where are my keys? Got in my car, drove here because I told Sam the other day, I'll be there.
It's 6 o'clock.
I told you earlier today, yes, I will be there. I am not about to last minute cancel just because I'm a little bit tired.
I appreciate that. And I'll give you another example, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this, being an officer, being in the position I'm in now, it has a lot of responsibilities to it and a lot of expectations on being at places.
Yes.
And if I can't, I've already told Mark and you, I'm like, look, man, I work thirds. I'm not taking PTO days to come to meetings.
Yeah.
I will send you my finance reports. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
And I feel bad. The only meeting I've missed so far, we didn't meet a quorum because everybody else apparently had the same idea.
Legit, every brother that normally shows up,
Just wasn't.
they're like, yeah, I was sick.
Matt was sick.
Or, oh, I just completely forgot and I was tired and I just went to bed early. And I'm like, well, we missed it by one person.
One person. But you sent me that text and you said, oh, fastest meeting ever. I said, really?
Yeah, like
no
5
kidding.
minutes after our schedule.
I was like, how'd you do that? And they're like, we just didn't open. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But no, so over Easter, it was my weekend to work. When I work my weekends for work, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, we're so short-staffed right now, I pick up Mondays too.
Okay.
So I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I get off work on Tuesday morning at 6:30 in the morning.
Jesus.
And then I work Wednesday and Thursday. So I get a half day on Tuesday. Just to sleep. And it was Easter too.
Yeah.
So this last one. Well, our meeting was on that Tuesday that was in, I only got 6 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep. And normally, I'm just going to be honest with you. If this was a normal situation, I would have said, sorry, guys, I'm not coming. I need a day to myself.
Yeah.
Here's my finance report. It's done. Because I will always get those done.
Yeah.
But I'm not coming out tonight. I need a night to myself. But also, Ben had told me the weekend before that he was ready to do his give back. And you can only give those at meetings. Yep. And I was not going to let anybody else do it.
Yep.
And I'm a man of my word. So I woke up, came out here, drank 2 bottles of Diet Coke before the meeting, and we were here until 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I just but it had to be me. I told him I would be there. I told him I would do it. And I was here.
Yeah.
And then I went home and I felt good. I felt really good because I was like, you know what? It means a lot that I did it with him. He's ready. And now he's going to get his fellow craft next week.
Yep.
Because it means something. I'm a man of my word. I promised him. It was when I tell you, it feels I would rather rip my eyeballs out than go to a meeting with how little sleep. I worked 110 hours that week.
Jesus.
In 1 week. It was like I lived at work. I only came home to sleep. That's it. And then that one day I was like, oh, hey, it's 5 o'clock. Let me just get a shower. I was like, I'm not putting on a suit. I put on a sweater and wear my jeans and dress shoes. Yeah. I'm not doing this.
I mean, you see me come to meetings in high vis. I'm like, listen, I just came from work.
This is what we're doing.
Kick me out. I'll go home and go to sleep.
But I mean, we're not doing degree work, so it was fine. But I was just like, but I was here for Ben.
Yeah.
And we did our thing. It was a great meeting. I had fun. We had a good speaker. It was great. But I could have just as easily messaged you and said, hey, I don't feel good. I'm not coming. Someone's going to have to do this with Ben.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have been the same.
Yep.
And it wouldn't have meant the same to him and me. And
it will hurt you more.
I would have felt like a big piece of shit.
Yeah.
And that's just me, though. That's the standard I hold myself to. That's another thing me and my therapist work on, is that I hold other people to the same standards I hold myself, which is not realistic, apparently.
Yeah.
So she says anyway. So now I have to go back to this bare minimum standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
I try to go like, what is the, so in judicial trials or negligence, right?
Yep.
Civil negligence. It's a big part of my job of, if somebody falls while I'm at work, is it my fault? Well, you have to go by a standard of bare minimum expectations, kind of. So would an average person have taken precautions to prevent that? Or was there some normal person? So in medical standards, if the patient falls out of bed because you didn't put the railing up,
mm-hmm.
that's on you. That's my fault. I should have done that. That would
Yeah.
be, I technically did something negligent. But if you fell out of bed because you decided to Superman off of the bed,
You
That's
decide, hey, I can fly.
yeah,
Oh,
right. They do this all the time. Fun fact. That doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not my fault. So I kind of go with the same reasonable expectation of holding people to standards.
Yeah.
And really that standard is, did you tell me you were going to do it? And if you did, why didn't you?
Yeah. Because I will play devil's advocate a little bit. Because I think what we're talking about is good. I think we're rambling a little bit, but
We're having fun.
Yeah, we're having a good time. I think the listeners there's gonna be a few that are like, oh, you guys are just expecting way too
Being
much.
assholes, but
Or there's also gonna be like, I feel the same way at my lodge, and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna bring it up next state meeting. That's all you gotta do.
it's how you approach it, though. I think
Yes.
it's a question of like, you need to fix these cracks, okay? Because
Mhm.
I mean, there's been a couple of days where we had a lot of problems, and I think I blew up on you or I blew up on Gabe, and I'm like, well, if you guys don't care, I don't care. I'm done giving a shit, whatever.
Here's Gabe.
And I blow up, and I don't mean it,
Yeah.
but I'm just like, you feel like you're the only one doing stuff, even if you're not,
Yep.
but if you feel like you're the only one doing it, sometimes all you got to do is go up to the person that's doing a lot of this stuff and just let them know how appreciative you are of
Yeah.
these things.
Yep.
But I find this topic interesting, and it's been mulling around in my brain because I think you and I have the same thought process on these things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because you turned into the person that would annoy the shit out of you right after you bought your house.
More or less, yeah.
Because, and I recognized this as soon as you did it, I went, oh shit. Because all of your priorities changed in
Yes.
an instant. And I had to go, man, I'm usually relying on Ryan for all of this. Like, Gabe's the one that's got a crazy life and he's getting orders and he's disappearing and doing. Ryan is my constant.
Yep.
Ryan is my ride or die. He's there. We figure it out. We make it happen. And for like 3 months, you were like, nah,
Yeah.
can't do it. Sorry.
And that's where
Busy.
I know a lot of people will be like, well, Ryan, as soon as you came to Genoa Lodge, you were what is it, Johnny on the spot. You were the go-getter and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I was free.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not anymore.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
shortly after I joined, I got engaged. So marriage kind of took over, and it was like, I need to plan a wedding, which you're going through right now. It's like, I'm sorry, but Lodge is now second.
Right.
And then I got married. So right away, after you get married, it's still like, well, my wife's still my number one. I got to make sure she's good, and I'm not neglecting that relationship. But then, as you said, I got a house. So now Lodge went from 2 to 3. So
Right.
it's like,
Well, and it's, how do I put this? So in my head, I was just saying, I'm like, listen, you've earned the time off. You've earned the ability to be like, hey, I got to do this. Like, I need all my attention to be on this problem, because as soon as this problem is finished, then I can start figuring things out, right? Because when you're moving, you got to pack, you got to do this, you got to get your utilities going. Packing in its own, I will never, I don't want to ever buy another house because I don't want to ever have to move again. I hate it.
yeah.
But I had to go with this. I'm like, oh, hey, that's why you weren't on a lot of the episodes for Traveling Man, because or How to Be a Traveling Man, because you were coming home from work and packing for 6 hours.
Yeah, packing or unpacking. And hell, my house is still a mess because it's still like, I'm still unpacking.
Right.
I'm still putting stuff away, and I'm still going to Menards to buy shelving, or
Do what you got to do.
I need this cabinet, or oh shit, this broke. Now I gotta get this. And it's
Yep.
just like,
And you're very much, and I knew if I was like, if I gave him enough time, I was like, once he's moved into the house and
Yep.
once that's done, then I can start bothering him again because it's not.
And I think I even kind of talked to you a little bit about
You
it,
did.
like with the scheduling of the episodes. I was even like, you give me enough of a lead time, I will be there.
Right.
This last minute, hey, we need you tomorrow. I'm gonna go, yeah, you can go pound sand. No.
I try not to, but it's, you know, it is what it is.
Happens.
Life happens, but
Yep.
but once you were moved in and everything, I was like, okay, hey, how much more time do you think you need? Give me like another month or so I can kind of work this out. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
We communicated. We have our
And now that
figured
the
out.
weather is starting to get better, it's like, oh, cool. I can go out into the shed. I can go into the garage and put all that stuff away
Right.
and like actually not freeze and have mittens on while I'm doing this.
Right. And it's one of those things where in my head I'm like, you have to go through it. But it was funny to watch because you were doing shit that would, if it was someone else doing it to you, you would have been like all mad about it. And I was just like sitting there with Ricky and I'm like, Ricky, this is so fascinating. He's like, shut the hell up or he's going to kill you.
Yeah, because I know for a fact younger me would be like, yeah, fucking Ryan's always at his house, at his home, like unpacking. I don't know how much. And you're
Get a
like,
life.
dude, have you ever unpacked? Like, yeah, how hard can it be? And
Right.
it's like, oh, this is how hard
This is how hard it was.
This is how much time it takes.
But it does. It's a lot. But here we are now. We're unpacked.
Yeah.
We all have our responsibilities to handle and we move on with it. But
Yeah.
I just would like
Communication.
And I think as a whole, I think the fraternity as a whole needs to look at communication, responsibility, and being men of our word.
Yes.
I feel like as Masons, I feel like if we say we're going to do something, it shouldn't even be a question. I shouldn't have to make a backup plan. If I ask you, hey, go source out that pancake batter for me,
Yeah.
I shouldn't even have to think about that.
And this is kind of where I was thinking about playing devil's advocate, and I'll play it now, is because I know how hard it is to tell brother, I'm sorry, no, or I'm sorry, I can't.
Right.
Because you feel like you're letting the other person down. You feel like, hey, this is my brother. He's in an hour of need, but I can't go past my cable toe. So I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm learning it like we just talked about, moving. I can't help out the lodge right now because if I do, my cable toe is going to snap and everything's going to fall. That juggling act, every ball is going to hit the ground.
I get it. Trust me, I get it.
So if you're afraid of, I just don't want to say no. So that's where I say yes. It's like, so I'll be there and then dropping the ball at the last minute or canceling last minute than you would be if at minute one you tell them, I'm sorry, I can't this week. I can't this month. How about next month?
Well, and it opens up a whole nother thing on this, on guys becoming officers.
Yes.
And not being able to actually commit to it. Now, I would argue that there is a certain situation where, like we were a couple of years ago, where we didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, we need you to sit in this chair.
Yep.
We need you to be the officer. We will figure out your schedule. I mean, I was in that situation.
Yes.
But eventually, I'm hoping we will get to a point where that is not a situation anymore. It's not as bad as it was. It's not as dire as it was. But a couple of years ago, or after COVID, it was pretty dire.
Yeah.
We needed guys, and we had to figure out where we were going to pull them from. And I'm like, I'll sit in the chair, but like, I don't really want to. But if I don't, then who?
Yep.
And then you go, well, then if you're going to force me to do this, you can't force me to have all these other expectations because I didn't ask for them.
Yep.
That goes with the. And I mean, it opens up a whole nother thing for you to think about, listeners. Like, how long really is your cable toe?
Mm-hmm.
And are you actually maintaining your cable toe? Are you looking at that 24-inch gauge and really, really dividing it?
Yeah.
Are you looking at it and going, yeah, I can fit that in there? Because if you're not following the first tenets of being an EA.
Yeah.
And you're not being a good representative of yourself but also the fraternity, because we should be those upstanding guys that say, and it's not even in just doing Masonic things. You should be the guy that when people say, oh yeah, Ryan said he's going to do it, it gets done.
Yeah.
That's what they love about us for this homecoming thing, because we say we'll be there, and we're there, and we bring 50 people.
7 guys to help out. Oh, cool. Come that day, I'll have 7 guys to come help.
Right.
It's not, hey, I'll have 7 guys and me and my wife shows up and it's like, where's the other? Oh, they had to cancel last minute.
Actually, what really happens is we say, yeah, we'll have 10 guys, and then 20 of us show up, and we're like, hey, where you need some other help? Like,
so-and-so showed up. Do you need help in
you need the bingo tent?
Yeah.
Right. So, Craftsman overall, try to be a reliable person. Try to be a reliable Mason. Be a man of your word, because our word is the only bond that we have. It's your words are what tied you to this fraternity with your obligation.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to tell brother.
No,
I'm sorry, but no,
absolutely not.
Or
see, I have no problem. I like to go with the derivative of fuck no. I'm a big fan of it.
There's our one F-bomb per episode.
One per episode. There it is. That's my favorite. And then it's usually a chuckle afterwards, because everyone's like, Sam's kidding. No, I'm serious. No.
Yeah, and that's where it's hard to get it to say no.
It's practice.
Yes.
It's a lot of...
But if you don't want to say no right off the bat, you could say,
I don't think so.
Could I do this instead? Or that way you're taking on less responsibility. You're still helping the brother.
Yeah.
But you're taking on less.
Agreed. Well,
you want to get off this soapbox and go to the third soapbox now?
Yeah, right. We'll do that at the bar.
We'll do that at the bar. Gabe now. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, God. But also, just for the listeners, I promise all of the episodes during the summer will not be soapbox episodes. I assure you. We have some really fun episodes planned with brothers coming up here. We've got at least one author that's going to be on the show. I'm still working on planning some days for us to go be on some other podcasts. That will be fun. Yep.
That reminds me, I actually had a few things. I've been thinking about throwing this out there, and I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and do it.
Sure.
So, obviously, through the last year and whatnot, I've been dropping a few hints of, like, an episode I would like to do about Alexander Hamilton.
Oh, neat. Yeah.
I still want to do something.
Who is not a Mason, by the way.
Correct. He is not a Mason. I kind of want to talk about that. And I have all these bookmarks saved on my computer at home and stuff. But right now it's not within the length of my cable tow to actually sit down and type off all the notes and stuff. But so my question to the listeners is that something you guys want to hear? Is that something, yes, I would love to hear, not only about that, but the other fathers that may not have been Masons, or historical people that will be or that were Masons. And if so, do you have any facts that we may not know that I might not find? Because if so, I would love to hear about them.
I dig that. I mean, I'm interested about that one.
And then the other thing is, for those brothers that aren't aware, Brother Sam and I are going through something called the Royal Schofield Society. You're further along than I am, because this is your masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about my masterpiece, and I think I'm going to do some sort of lesson, PowerPoint, education on what makes a lodge a successful lodge. How do you build one? Kind of on the book that I read and stuff, but more modernized.
And you met the author of that book, correct?
Yes, at the Secretary's Society. But again, not within the length of my cable tow.
Right now.
I have like freaking 70 bullet points from that book that I read, and I've kind of wheedled them away and whatnot. But I would like to hear from you listeners, what do you think makes a lodge successful? So that's my 2 shout outs, my 2 requests to all the listeners. You can say no. You can say I can't. That is fine. But Alexander Hamilton, is that something you want to hear? And what makes a lodge successful?
Yeah. I'm excited for both of those, honestly. The other one that I am currently working on, Craftsman, is fun creative project. It's not. It's a.
Yep.
We're working on a project of doing a kind of a fictional narrative, just something for fun, just to see what happens. But think Stranger Things and the X-Files and Twin Peaks meets masonry and the paranormal. So that'll be fun to do. And I don't know. It's just going to be a fun summer. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, let's get off this soapbox and just remind them, remember, craftsmen.
Keep your working tools in order.
And always be on the level. Thank you.
See ya.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast do not reflect those of the Grand Lodge of Ohio, its officers, or any of its jurisdictions. They only reflect those of the hosts or guests.